so much for joining me for today's video. So I was about to sit down and do my layout for today and figured I would film it for y'all. So today we're going to be going for kind of a vintage garden, kind of a whimsical theme, which was actually the last Whimsy box. And I wanted to just put this together. So if you would like to see how I do this, keep watching. So I wanted to center everything around this image that I found of this beautiful lavender. It is a vintage image that I just printed out and cut out from, let's see, I will leave the link in the description below, but it is called plantillustrations.org. And it is a database of just tons of cool images of different plants. And so I wanted to incorporate those in my journal for today. So that's what I did. So we're going very lavender, pretty purples, and I'm also incorporating a couple of things that I just got in. I got this gorgeous grid washi set from Amazon. So I'll show y'all. It is a 7 grid washi tape set in different colors. So I'm really excited to use those because grid washi that I have is my most used washi. And then I also got this really cool little stamp set that is just the alphabet and a couple of symbols down there. So I thought that would be really fun to use today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to use this Aleene's tacky glue because my new glue sticks have not come in yet. Unfortunately, Prima has decided, or they decided, I guess, a while back to discontinue the planner glue pens, which were like a super holy grail planner item of mine that I purchased frequently, used frequently. I know it was very loved in the community, and I honestly do not understand why they would create such an amazing product and then take it away from us. I'm really sad about that. But anyway, I've heard great things about the Uhu sticks, UHUH. So I'm going to give those a try and see if they work just as well, if not almost as well as those glue pens. So in the meantime, and I'm also out of monodots. So yeah, as far as adhesive goes, we're having a problem in this household. So anyway, probably should actually just use this because this works for me the best. So I'm going to switch over to this matte medium because I actually really do like using this a lot more. I'm just going to apply it with a cheap wash brush like this. And so this right here, since I got it, has been another most used product in my planner and also just doing art in general. So if I did decide to do a video on like my most used products, this would definitely be in here. I got one of the big bottles after I used up the little squeeze bottle that you just saw. I bought a big bottle of the Liquitex brand, and I have been using it. So, let's see, I think I had it set just, let's set this a little bit further out. That way we can still see that really pretty lavender paper. I'm also gonna add some back here. Probably need a little bit more, or a lot more in my case. Anyway, yes, I love matte medium, and that squeeze tube right there is just so convenient. I just refill it. Then I got my big bottle sitting elsewhere. So we're gonna go here, go pretty heavily in the crease of the book. That way there will be less wrinkling. And I've actually found that this stuff actually dries fairly quickly. I don't know, I just really feel like I love the effect that it gives. I think it works as a gluing medium. It works extremely well for me. Okay, while we've still got some tacky areas there, I'm gonna go ahead and add my image. I think we'll put it right there. Yeah, that looks nice. But the key here is you want to have, actually, before I really get into doing that, something that I've been doing here lately is spraying images before I apply the matte medium really, really heavily, is spraying them with this sealer from Americana. And I believe you can get this at Michael's. And this just helps keep the ink from running a whole lot, because if you use an inkjet printer and then you apply any kind of a wet-ish medium, it can sometimes cause your ink to smear a little bit, and we really don't want that. So I do like, let's see, I need to apply just a little bit out there. Get that nice and glued down. So, okay, it's sealed, we're good. So now I'm gonna lightly, I try not to go over the image too much, but just enough to get it really nice and glued down. Now it does run a little bit. I don't know if you can see this, but this brown background, it did run a little bit, but the image is still fine. And you might see a couple of brush strokes because while it doesn't seal completely, it seals it enough to where I can really get in there and do what I need to. So since it's running, I'll go ahead and vintage up that image a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to leave that alone for a second. And then I thought I might keep kind of the book piece going down here. So I'm going to add a little down here just to make it a little bit more cohesive, because I do like having my stuff being fairly balanced. So just whatever is left on the brush, just seal that in. And I will also add book pages is another very, very widely used item that I use. If you are on my Instagram, which is at plannergirl, GRRL, which is the same as my username on here, you will see that I use a lot of book pages and just different pages in general. I really like adding different textures and things to my projects, because each of these, I don't like to really plan out my pages. I usually just kind of try to find one thing, or if I'm stamping that day, I try to find like one color or a particular stamp that I want to use that day. Whatever element I'm really feeling that day is what goes on the book. And for me, it works. For some people, it may not work. I've seen where people will plan out their year or plan out months in advance, and if you were one of those people, you were awesome, but that just doesn't really do it for me. And honestly, I think that kind of format works a lot better if you're using your planner in like a weekly format. I think that works really well if you like to have your whole month done with the same cohesive theme. That can really work for you. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to use one of these little finger daubers just because I'm trying to get through them. I really don't like using these very much. And then I'm going in with Shaded Lilac Distress ink, just so I can add a little bit of texture. And here I'm using one of my favorite stencils. This is another very, very highly used product in my planning, is stencils. And this is one of my favorites. It's just a very, very basic looking burlap print, but I really enjoy using it, and it works for me. So I'm just gonna take and just dab that ink, and I'm trying to take as little as possible at a time, just because I really wanted to see what the color was gonna look like, and I think it's gonna work really well because this page is a little bit of lavender, but then you've got the blue lines. I think it's gonna work. And then to avoid any harsh edges, I just kind of randomize how I apply this. And then as you can tell, like over here, I took the stencil out a little bit further than where the pattern ends, just so that you don't see any harsh edges. So I'm just really randomizing it, and then you want kind of a gradient effect as well, especially when you get over here, unless you're able to really line it up well. If that was the case, I would have totally done this horizontally, but you know, I really didn't think about that. But anyway, just dabbing. I really just wanted some nice texture going down my page. Thought this would be pretty. So now let's look. I think that'll be good. And normally I try to add a little bit of texture over on the other page for balance. Let's see, where would I put this? I think it would be best to do it here on the bottom. Now I like to start with my corners first, that way they can have kind of the most of the ink. And make sure you hold your stencil down. There's nothing worse than having a stencil that moves and then it messes up your lines and they just don't look good. So make sure you have a really good anchor on where that stencil is going. And I'm gonna add just a little bit over here as well, just because I think I need a little bit more right here. So just very random, just to get a nice wash of color and of texture. Perfect. Okay. I don't know where my bucket is. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put the distress ink away. I'm gonna check over here. It's getting pretty dry. I'm gonna go ahead and put my day over here. So I think I want to mix up. I really need to wash that quick. See, this area is really nice and dry. So I'm going to give that ink a minute to dry, but I'm going to take one of these old die cuts. I keep all of my, if it's a shop that I frequently purchase from, sorry. I don't keep my stickers in here, but I keep like sticker sheets, but I keep any little ephemera items, anything like that, in these little photo boxes that I got from Michael's. And they come in a set where you can get a big carrying case and then you get a bunch of these little smaller photo boxes to put stuff in. And I just have mine by shop. So there's some shops that I purchased from, like one that comes to mind is Marshmallow Studio. I have a ton of their old die cuts. So I keep all the die cuts in there. And then I've got a couple of boxes that are just randoms of, you know, maybe I shopped from a planner shop once and got a die cut set, but it's not enough to really justify having its own box. So I'll just throw a bunch of those in there. But this is my Lace and Whimsy box, and I keep it out because here lately I've been using a ton of their stuff, and I'm really trying to go through my stash of old items that I just really need to get through. I tried to really not shop from planner shops much here lately, and I've done pretty well with that. I still get here lately I've been getting a bunch of art supplies because I have been really getting into art journaling a lot more. But as far as stickers and things, I have my monthly Whimsy box, which is Lace and Whimsy, and then I have my Patreon that I still do. But other than that, I really haven't purchased from any planner shops just to get stickers, and that is 100% okay because, like I said, I really need to get through my stash. I think I've done pretty well with it, all things considered. Oh, that washi's perfect. Okay, so I think I had wanted to put the butterfly just kind of like there, like she's flying up. So I am going to take this glue again. This is a little bit of a heavier cardstock, so I'm not going to worry about it wrinkling quite as bad as it did on that little piece of paper. I actually really do like this glue. This was kind of something that I wasn't really searching for, but I was going through Michael's couple of weeks ago and saw this glue. I was like, oh, I've seen that a lot in the junk journaling community. So I figured I'd pick some up because I was really shopping for stuff for an art journal, and I actually really like this glue. It works really well. It takes a little bit for it to dry, so you can kind of reposition your stuff if you need to. And it dries clear, and I think it was fairly inexpensive. I can't remember how much it is, but I've actually been using it a lot, so it might be something to look out for. Okay, then I'm going to use one of my favorite inks, which is just this Color Box Pigment Archival ink. When I really got into stamping, I just picked random colors before I really figured out the difference between, God, what was the other one? I know there's pigment inks and then something else. I cannot remember. But anyway, I picked this up not realizing that it was pigment ink, but it's a good thing because they are archival quality. So that's something to note. Okay, so, whew. All right, so the stamps are just little rubber stamps on wood. So I'm just gonna, let's see, is there a small end? No. Just gonna dip that in there, and then, all right, it works. I really need my bucket. Okay, then I'm gonna take the A. It definitely does not have to be perfect. That's the whole point of this. I don't want the stuff like super lined up. I just want them really randomized. Oh, these are precious. I've been looking for some nice typewriter font stamps, and I was actually able to find these on Amazon. I've had them in my cart for a while, or in the saved area for a while. And finally I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's get it, because you know you're going to be crafting. Uh-oh, is that the bee? Uh-oh. Let's see. I thought that was the B. Okay, here we go. Whew, that would have been disastrous. Okay, pick that A back up. I could have done better with that Y, but I will. It's there. Okay, now let's get the April. I think I want to mix up some of my letters. Oh, what is today? What is today? April 11th. Okay. There we go. How cute. Okay, works for me. And I love that they put these gorgeous stamps in this really nice little keepsake box. Like, this is awesome. So it's got the stamp size on there, but you can kind of tell from just the page in and of itself, they're decent sized. So you could use these on your cover pages, whatever you want to. It's a really nice little set, I think. All right, so I'll go ahead and cover my ink up. Something that I really need to put on my list is some white stamping ink, because I have completely run out of it. Or I haven't run out, but I've been really, really careless with it. And I guess just from not washing my my stamps off good enough. But doing honestly the best that I could, but my white has kind of picked up on the different colors of stamp ink that I've had on the stamps previously, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Okay, so as far as setup goes, that's pretty much all I'm gonna do. I think that looks really cute. Everything's very nice and cohesive. I like it. So yeah, let's see. Okay, that's dry. All right, so now we're gonna go in. Ooh, we're at 23 minutes, my goodness. So now I'm gonna go in and just kind of write down the things that I've done today. But first I'm gonna check and see if there are any more of these stickers that I wanna use. I really love these. I'm excited to use these. Those are so pretty. But I think that's all the decorating that I really want to do for now. That washi strip's nice. I think I just want to stick to the lavender in and of itself being the only, actually, I kind of want to use this. That'll really fit with kind of the theme that I got going on here. All right, so I'm gonna stick this in the crease. Cute. All right, that's really cute. Now I feel like I need something there. Oh, it is never done. Okay, I think I'm gonna use this really pretty butterfly here. Yeah. Cute. Are there any more butterflies to use? Yes. I'll use one of these little bitty butterflies. Just to kind of have little something else. There we go. Oh, I like it. I like it. I like it. Super cute. All right. Stuff's not wanting to stick. Now, once all of this dries, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down everything that I'm going to do today, but then after a while, I'm going to shut the book, because since using the matte medium and that glue, we've got a page that's kind of warping a little bit. But I found that if you do your wet mediums, let it dry just enough. And then you could also, another thing that I do typically, especially if I've used stamp ink, because the inks that I used, they dry, it takes a while for them to dry completely, especially if you've got really high saturation of color. So what I normally do is I will take just a piece of computer paper, or I think lately I've been using like a watercolor piece, and I'll shut the book, put the piece of paper in here, shut the book, and then put something heavy on top of it. That way it can, once it really dries, it can kind of press that book and press the page back flatter, so you don't have quite as much bulk in here. So that's what I'm gonna do once I'm finished writing down what I need to write down for today. Okay, so today all we really did for homeschool stuff, since it is the weekend, is we did our happy numbers, and then we took our vitamins, and then let's see, did some laundry, and I need to do the dishes. Never-ending pile of dishes, of course. And then I swept the floor. I need to hang and fold. I need to edit this video. And upload. And then I think here I'm going to put Amazon Part 2. I might just add a little fun box around it. All right, what else do I need to do today? I'm sure I'll think of something, because the day is not done yet. But that is, and I also will do my oracle card reading over here. But other than that, that's about what I do in a day, and we're at 28 minutes. It usually takes me about 30 minutes to an hour, depending roughly on how intricate I'm feeling that day. But this is about how I do things in real time. So it may seem like a long time to you, but this for me is very much a sit down and relax period. This is a period where I can really think about the things that I need to do for the day, or things that I've done that day. It's very much a creative outlet for me, and that's what I love about bullet journaling, and just having the freedom to create your own thing. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see future videos, please hit subscribe. I would love to have you over here. And other than that, I will talk to y'all soon. Bye, everybody.